Really?
Yeah. So I am looking for a sister. Show my love. No, I feel like that was too. It's not lively.
Hello, Karen. Good to see you. Welcome to Monblé Studio. How's it going?
It's going well. Nice to see you.
Okay, I like your dress.
Thank you.
This is your favorite color?
It is. I love the spectrum of red. So anything in red, I'm always gravitating toward it.
Can you introduce yourself for our audience?
Yes. So my name is Karen Okonkwwo, and I'm a first generation Nigerian American social entrepreneur. And I have a few businesses. One of them is a diverse stock photography company that has just tapped into diverse stock photography in the AI space called Tonal. And then I also love to do party planning. And under that umbrella, I like to make cakes. So I also make cakes. And then I also do business consulting with Can I Ask You Something, Karen?
How long have you been in the United States?
So I was actually born and raised here in the United States, making me first generation. I was born in San Diego, California, and then my family, we moved to Arizona, and that's where I spent most of my formative years for 18 years. I then moved back actually to California for a little bit for the job that I took in medical sales. And then they placed me in Seattle. So I've been in Seattle here for over 14 years.
But your parents from Nigeria?
Yes, my parents were born in Nigeria, yes.
That's why we saw on your website that you are the first generation Nigerian?
Yes, that is exactly why.
Okay, can you tell us more about your business?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I have a diverse stock photography company, and that basically allows people to buy a license to use images from our site for their marketing and advertising needs. We just came out with a photo generative AI tool. So now if you don't see an image that you need from our site, you can now imagine one in your mind, put in a prompt, and it'll generate an image for you. So that's that business. And then I really, growing up, loved to be in the kitchen baking. I like to cook as well, but I always gravitated toward baking. And you find that when you are in a corporate job, sometimes your hobbies can be stifled. So I turned to the kitchen, back to the kitchen, and I got back into baking. And people caught wind of that and started to ask me to make cakes for them. And I used to document it, or I still do online, and I coined it Karen's Cakes. And so from that point forward, people have been ordering cakes from me. And so that's a sector of my business. And that's under the umbrella of Party with a K. And Party with a K is event planning. So I like to do events for specific clients, themed out baby showers, birthday parties, bachelorette parties. And then my last business that I focus in on the most is Can I Ask You Something, Karen? Which is business consulting, one-on-one consulting for those unique business questions that you just can't get answered from Google or AI. As an entrepreneur, it can be very hard to find people who are willing to answer questions that kind of come on a whim, or questions that are so unique and challenging and nuanced. And I want to be that person for people. I want to be that consultant who can help answer questions for people. So that is my other business.
And that's wonderful. I like it. I like.
Thank you.
Which one is your most proud?
I'm most proud of Tonal because Tonal was the answer to a problem that I wanted to solve. We often find that images are very racially one-sided. And me and my business partner, Joshua Kissy, we really wanted to solve that issue. And so rather than complaining about it, we went out and we changed that. And so as we move into more of this tech and AI space, and we find that the data sets are very biased, they are continuing to leave out Black and brown people, we are continuing to be in the forefront of solving that. And so I'm very proud of Tonal and its evolution and the direction that it's going.
Okay. As of now, what do you think of your achievement?
As of now, I'm very proud of my achievements because not many people can say that they dabbled into so many different forms of making money. Like I said, I started off in the traditional corporate setting. I did medical sales for almost a decade. Simultaneously, I took on tackling a dream of being my own business and owning my own business and being my own boss. And that is something that is not a small feat. It's come with a lot of its trials and tribulations and peaks and valleys and seasons. And I'm proud that I've continued to find really creative ways to stay innovative and to stay relevant. And again, that's not easy. They say that, within 3 to 5 years, 95% of businesses fail. And so we are approaching, next year, it'll be 9 years in business. And so I'm really proud of what I have been able to achieve up until this point in my entire working career.
A subscriber have a question for you. Like love, family, and whatever.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I want to start off by acknowledging my identity. As a first generation Nigerian American, I dabble in many different worlds. I, again, was under the household of Nigerians. So within our household, we understood our culture. We were very Nigerian forward in our food. The language that was spoken in the home was predominantly English, but we heard Igbo in the home. We participated in many Nigerian events. The culture was all encompassing. We traveled to Nigeria growing up and all throughout life. Simultaneously, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, white schooling system. So I was always around a diverse group from a racial perspective and from an access perspective that was very different. And then, I'm here in America, and the Black experience is very different than that of the Black experience on the continent of Africa. And so I find myself in three different rooms. And so I say all that to say that when you come to the United States, there's a lot of acclimating that happens, and there's a lot of identities that you hold. And one thing that is for certain as a Nigerian is that we're always taught to be the best. We're taught to be the best in the room, no matter what is in front of us. And so when it came to the professional setting, my parents always encouraged us to pursue what was practical and to pursue what was going to, of course, make us money. And so that was always the first focus in life. When it came to how I balanced that with my personal life, from the romantic side of things to the platonic side of things, that is something that I feel I take pride in as far as my relationships. It's something that is nurtured in my culture as far as being compassionate and empathetic and putting people in front of you. I do think that from a romantic side of things and perspective, when you are very ambitious, you are calling in a certain type of person. And so that takes, I think, a little bit longer, or it takes a little bit more time to meet the right person when you are vibrating, I guess you could say, at a higher level. And so when you're high achieving, you want to make sure that you are finding somebody who doesn't see you as competition, who's going to be a partner with you, who's equally as ambitious. And that is something that is a journey that I'm still on. And so I would say that it's a give and take. There are going to be moments in life where you have a lot of one thing and maybe less of another. And that has been the story of my life, is that there's been a lot in those buckets and there's been little in some of those buckets. And I think that it's always going to kind of be that way, because I think God's designed it that He wants you to keep learning lessons in each of those buckets so that you stay humble and that you stay in a growing phase. So how I manage it all is I keep people around me who are ambitious, who are like-minded, who want to see good for me, who appreciate culture, who understand my culture, and who understand all the nuances of what makes me who I am.